And I'm back with the next part in the Friday the 13th series. Well, a couple of next parts. Next up was part 3. Part 3 is when the hockey mask gets introduced. The infamous hockey mask that is brought by Shelley to the camp. The kind of the clown, the class clown, the pretty much insecure guy that uses humor to offset the fact that he doesn't feel too good about himself. Tea's warm. And it has brown sugar. Just saying. Now part 3 is really, I really enjoyed part 3. Now part 3 was, I saw in theater, and the 3D on part 3, if you see it in theater, is incredible. I got to see it back then, and I got to see it in the theater in 3D. I've heard a couple people that have complained about 3D in the theater in part 3. Those people did not actually see part 3 in 3D in theater. They may have seen 3D on their TV or hooked up or something like that, but I'd be suspect. Part 3 is actually pretty good. Jason has changed a lot. Remember the guy from the Goonies, Sloth, is it? Yeah, he kind of looks, he really looks, he looks exactly like that. Now, he's gone from his backwoods type look that he had in the second movie to a shaven type look, more like the first movie. And his character now is more brutal. There is an implication that Jason may have raped somebody. Yeah, that was kind of disturbing. This is a very different Jason, and it's a different take on the character, even though he's still the same director, Steve Miner. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, one thing that we do have that I really enjoyed, and that is Disco Friday music. I won't do that again. Yeah, okay. Disco Friday music. The opening to Friday the 13th has an incredible discoized version of the Friday the 13th music. And being a true lover of cheese and a mystery science theater guy before there ever was a mystery science theater, I loved it. I utterly adored it. I actually went out and bought an album at one point, and yes, it was an album, I think, that discoized like popular sound. Friday the 13th was done, James Bond was done, I think. Wish I had that now. That would have made a great YouTube video. Anyway, in the third one, there are some more characters coming up, but they're not coming up to Crystal Lake this time. I think it's, I don't remember the name of the place. Higgins Haven or something like that. Yeah, we're going to go with that. You can correct me down below if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've watched the Friday the 13th movies, but these are movies that I've watched so frequently throughout my life that I could pretty much go about 6 to 8 months to a year without watching a Friday the 13th movie now and still tell you what the movie's about. So we've got a pregnant character in this one as well. Although it's not known outright by a lot of the others that she's pregnant, her pregnancy is alluded to and pretty much told, and her character is killed. Really surprised to see Jason killing a mom. Yeah, this was a very, very different take on Jason. Now, unfortunately, the guy that played Jason, Richard Brooker, recently passed away, and he was a very, very nice guy. He was really easy to talk to on Facebook, and one of those guys that I wish that I had gotten to meet. And his characterization of Jason is actually very good. It's faster than you would see in some of the other movies when Jason kind of slows down, and everybody else does, or just gets to left feet a lot. But his character is pretty big, he's pretty brutal. This Jason, there's a lot of stuff done here for 3D concepts. So of course you're going to get the peg coming out at you. Like the pole coming out at you. Man, that sounded wrong. Yeah, but yes. Again, Jason is killed in this one as well. Well, actually not as well. This is the first time we see Jason actually killed. He did not die in the second movie. He kind of dies in this one, or at least we think he's dead. The ending is pretty nonsensical. Jason's mom, Pamela Voorhees, jumps up from, well, a rotted version of his mom, jumps up from the water of Crystal Lake for some reason, because, and she has a head, by the way, which was taken off, and was actually, Jason had it in his cabin in part 2, but now she has it, so, zombie ER. So yeah, there are some inconsistencies. It's probably not the best Friday, but it does have the disco-ized music, and it also has the first appearance of the hockey mask. Shelley is one of the more likable characters, and I gotta say, there are some pretty cool, and actually for the time when I saw it, there were some creepy scenes in the film. The burn scenes really stand out. The attempted rape sequence with Jason kind of takes from the character, and it never really fit, even back then when Jason was just early on, and there hadn't been, it was pretty blank canvas to use. It just didn't seem to fit, which is probably the reason it wasn't used again. Also, the killing of the moms, a little suspect in the Jason mythos as well. But for what it is, Part 3 is a decent film. Joseph Zito had gone from making The Prowler, which is one of the seminal 1980s slasher horror films. Great mystery. Some people may find this a little bit slower moving right now, but The Prowler has some damn decent effects. Tom Savini, great work. Love the way it was done. Love the way it was shot. It's from AR. And that was pretty much his CV for Friday the 13th Part 4. Because in Part 4, we now have a new director. We have Joseph Zito directing Friday the 13th movie, the final chapter. Tom Savini comes back to do the special effects, as I forgot to mention. Tom Savini was, of course, the makeup artist that did special effects on the first movie. Savini had gone on to do Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. And he'd come back after doing The Burning, because he went from The Burning, instead of doing the next one, to do Part 4. So let's talk about Part 4. Part 4 has a pretty solid cast. We have Corey Feldman, we've got Crispin Glover, we have really cute-looking twins that I used to watch on Days of Our Lives. Full disclosure. Even the mom is kind of a hottie in this one. She's pretty much the MILF. And the character of Tommy Jarvis is probably one of the most interesting sub-characters introduced in the slasher genre, if not the most interesting. His character is definitely, for me, it even tops the Jamie Lee Curtis character of Laurie Strode. I'm sorry, yes, I know that's sacrilege to some people, but I like Tommy Jarvis just a bit more. Tommy is very much the type of kid that you would be. Horror guy, into the practical special effects. He's loving the video games. He's playing Saxon in the movie after all, and that's a damn good game, even for back then. He's pretty smart when it comes to computers. His mom goes to him basically for any of that type of techie stuff, and he does know a bit when it comes to cars as well, and apparently not as much as the worst part of this film, but he pretty much rules the roost. He makes masks. He seems to be smarter than the rest, but still he has that little kid aspect. And there's a sequence where he's watching a girl undress, and let's be honest, it was pretty funny and pretty cool and realistic to what a teenage boy would be like. So even though Tommy Jarvis has all these genius IQ-y type things going on, they still take the time to give those little moments to show Jarvis as a kid, and that's cool. We've got Teddy White, who's a great Jason in doing Part 4 now. His Jason moves a little, we're getting into a little bit slower, stockier Jason. Crispin Glover's dance sequence just got to be seen to be believed. The deaths in this one are getting better and better. We have gotten some really great deaths, and there's a strong opening on this film. And I got to say, the characters are pretty all much likable, except for one glaring glaring standout. And Tommy and his sister go into town. He's getting a cable for his video game. Basically, they run into probably the stiffest character in any Friday the 13th film of all time. And yes, I'm including all of them, part 5 and everything included. This guy is looking for his sister's killer, Jason, who he knows a lot about, even though the sister's death couldn't have been that long ago in the Friday the 13th timeline. So him being there, and it's kind of suspect as it is, but when his character dies, it is one of the most hilarious things in the movie, and it jarringly takes you out of the film. Basically, remember that Troll 2 scene where you got the kid and he's like, oh my god, they're eating her, and they're going to eat me too. Oh no! Okay, with a little bit less enthusiasm. Yeah, well, his death scene is pretty much the Troll 2 of the Friday the 13th franchise. It's pretty atrocious. So overall, Jason meets his final end in a grotesque, cool way. The makeup is incredible on Jason. He's gone back to looking like an adult version of the Jason from part 1, so he finally looks like he should look, and that's due to Savini coming back to do the 4th one. There is incredible special effects in this one. The music is pretty awesome. The cast is extremely likable, and we got ourselves a good horror franchise guy to take on Jason. We've got a Tommy Jarvis. And in my next video, we're going to learn more about what Tommy Jarvis did in the sequels. But right now, it's over there waiting for me. It's cooled down. And it's time for tea.